Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by Carloop Data and Koba Insurance. Alright, so I've got a bit of a straight road coming up. This is not flat, I know, but Racebox does correct for it, so alright, let's do this. Here we go, 1 foot rollout off. Oh my goodness. Wow, that was quick. Oh, 3.36. Okay. 1.77 for 0 to 60. So didn't quite get the 3.1. We'll have a look at the charts in a second. Okay, one more time just for laughs. Sunny's off. Here we go. Woo! Oh man, that's quick. That never gets old. Yeah. Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to my review of the 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance here in Sydney, Australia. I just want to start off by thanking Tesla Australia for loaning me this vehicle. I feel very honoured and privileged that a humble content creator like myself is being offered press cars to review. And speaking of content creators, that's exactly what I am. I'm not a professional auto journalist, so all I can give you is my own personal experience of this vehicle. I'll do my very best to stay accurate and give you all the pricing and technical specs of the vehicle, but what I'll do is compare this vehicle to our previous 2019 Tesla Model 3 Performance, which we sold last year to buy a new rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y. And as much as we loved that car, one thing I must say about the old Tesla Model 3 Performance is that it just felt like a very quick version of the Tesla Model 3, rather than a true ground-up performance variant. Whereas this vehicle here, the 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance, with the new facelift, has definitely been worked from the ground up, which I'll go through, of course, in my walk around and later on in the test drive part of the video. But what I'm really interested in is how much better the driving dynamics is now, particularly when it comes to cornering with the new active suspension. Because Tesla in the past has certainly been criticized for being a one-trick pony, being very good in the straight line, but where it's fallen down in the past has been the suspension and also with the ability to corner as well. So what I'm going to do today is to take it on the old Pacific Highway with lots of twists and turns and see how well it does around those bends. But first, let's do a walk around of the video and I'll give you some information about pricing and specs as well. And as we do our walk around, the car will software update itself to 2024.14.7 with the new visualizations, which I'll show, of course, in the test drive later on. And thank you to Tesla for pushing the software update to this car on my request. Okay, so this is the new 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance. Let's take a walk around the vehicle. So this car is now starting in Australia at just a tick over 80,000 Australian dollars before on-road costs. Each state and territory has its own registration costs as well as rebates, so check that out on the Tesla website. It's got an all-wheel drive dual motor powertrain, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.1 seconds with a 1 foot rollout, 343 kilowatts of combined power, 79 kilowatt hour LG Chem lithium ion NMC battery chemistry with an WLTP range of 528 kilometers, although I suspect real world range is slightly less than that, particularly if you're going to do some spirited driving with this car, and why wouldn't you, right, with that much power? Of course, the controversy is that the US produced Model 3 Performance has the Panasonic battery, 82 kilowatt hour, and also apparently has 50 more horsepower in the powertrain, giving it a 0 to 60 mile per hour sprint time of 2.9 seconds. So there it is, the 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance here in stealth grey, looking beautiful in the morning light. Let's have a closer inspection of the VIN just to make sure that it is built in Gigafactory Shanghai. There it is. It's got the LRW3, therefore it is produced in China. That is the fridge sticker right there. 528 kilometers of range, rated consumption of 167 watt hours per kilometer. All right, let's take a look at the performance aspects of this vehicle. So obviously you've got the red brake calipers straight away and the new performance alloys as well. These are staggered wheels. So having a look at the specs, the front tyres are R20, 235, 35. They're a bit skinnier than the back. You'll see as I pan across here to the back, 275, 30, so slightly wider in the back wheels. Now, one thing I'll note too, as I did in my previous walk around of the Tesla Model 3 Performance in the showroom, is that these bits are now plastic, so these two come off if necessary. Now, unfortunately, they're still not directional, as I said before in the walk around. They don't cut the air as well on the left-hand side of the vehicle, whereas on the right of the car, they are directional. So you'll see that the blades are facing the right way, and as the car moves forward this way, the blades will cut the air in the right direction. So that's one drawback you've just got to take note of when you purchase this vehicle. Let's start with the back of the car. So there is a carbon fibre spoiler across the back here for aerodynamics, of course. The rear of the vehicle has been redesigned, so now you've got a different diffuser at the back. You can just see there in the sun, hopefully, underneath the vehicle there. That's certainly different from the rear-wheel drive and long-range Tesla Model 3. Ultrasonic sensors are gone, of course, as it is with all new 2024 Tesla Model 3 variants. And you'll see also that the front of the vehicle has been redesigned as well to fit in with the performance aspect of this vehicle. So new front fascia as well down here. This is now a different compound, air intake down here, and also new side curtains as well on that side and here as well. And again, ultrasonic sensors are gone. As with the rear-wheel drive and long-range vehicles, new HW4 cameras. You can just see the red tinge there. With that comes the new hardware for Autopilot as well. You can probably see the red tinge better in this shot here. There we go. You can just hear the car whirring, and that is part of the software update process. And how would you know that it's a Performance Model 3? It's now got this ludicrous badging at the back there as well. So there it is. Just to let others know that you've got a Tesla Model 3 Performance. There we are. Alright, since the car's still updating itself, let's have a look at the boot. Got the new Tesla badging now across the back. Nice spacious boot. Let's have a look at the paint up here. Just see a bit of the grey there bleeding through. And it's a 60-40 split this time for the Model 3. And then more storage down here. You all know what a Tesla is. Lots of storage in the back. Auto boot close. Let's have a look at the frunk. Now, one criticism in the past about Tesla's doors is that they do sound a bit flimsy. Of course, this is a typical auto journalist thing where they love to comment on the sound of the car door closing and opening. Hey, why not? Let's emulate that. And it certainly sounds a lot better these days. It sounds a lot more solid. And there's now an extra little tab down here, which fits in there when you shut it, just to give the door extra stability for side collision impact. Sounds really good. And so does the back as well. Certainly got that very premium feel now. Okay, so let's have a look at the second row to start with. And I must say, I do love the white seats, I've got to say. I've never bought a car with white seats, but I can see the appeal now. It certainly looks very, very lovely. And they do certainly provide a very nice finish to the car. Heated rear seats, of course. And it's all vegan leather, so very nice to touch. Center rest folds down. Cup holders as previously. Isofix anchors, and then you've got the traditional child seat anchors in the back here on the shelf behind the seats. And of course the classic glass roof, which I do recommend you get a sunshade for the warmer months of the year. It does get quite hot under the glass roof. Storage down here. You'll notice too that the seat backing for the new performance seats don't have any storage. just one piece. And then you've got the usual screen in the back there, also showing the software update. You can control things like music and climate down here, air conditioning vents, 2 USB-C ports, and flat floor, of course, as you expect in Tesla, included fabric floor mats. Okay, let's go back to the driver's seat. Performance pedals, lovely. And the classic Tesla minimalistic look that we all know and plus or minus love. Nice carbon fiber finish up here. And these materials are all very soft, so because of that extra premium finish. Door open button, power windows, and mirror controls are all software based, which I'll go through once the car software updates itself. Wireless charging pad down here, and of course no more indicators or the gear control stalks. I'll talk about that on my drive. And then you've got the steering wheel now, which is the same as the rear-wheel drive and long-range variants. I'll go through the controls once the car updates itself. Then down here, past the wireless charging pads, you can push this forward for more storage. And this second part also slides down, cup holders. And then on the center armrest part, you've got more storage. And oh, look at this, a race box. Oh, okay. I guess we better use that today then to verify Tesla's claim of 0 to 100 in 3.1 seconds. And the USB-C port is now moved to the armrest storage area. There's only one that I can see. And of course, how do you know you're driving a performance Model 3? Well, you've got the Ludicrous badging now across the front of the bucket-style seats, which are very important if you're going to be doing some spirited driving in the Tesla Model 3 Performance. And why wouldn't you with so much power? There you go. Performance badging as well. Ventilated front seats, important for our summers, and heated as well, of course. And there is the rear view mirror. Not a bad view there from this perspective. Front visors, yep, which swing out and extend. There we go. And we mustn't forget the internal camera for driver monitoring. Now, for an MSRP of $80,000 here in Australia, it certainly represents very good value for a car with this many inclusions and for such performance. So it's certainly something worth checking out if you are after a vehicle like this. You gotta ask yourself, will you ever need that much performance? Well, look, no one actually needs that much power for predominantly street driving, right? But if you've got the budget for this vehicle, you might as well consider it, right? I'm certainly looking forward to doing some spirited driving in this car a bit later on after the software update. I guess the question now is, does Tesla still have that coolness appeal? Certainly when it first came out here in Australia, you know, it certainly garnered a lot of looks driving around the town. But there are so many Teslas around now that you've got to wonder, do you still feel special driving this vehicle? That is the question, right? Certainly for $80,000, like I said, very good value for a performance vehicle, but to most people, they won't notice the difference between a rear-wheel drive long range and a performance Model 3. Like, honestly, because we're in the know as early adopters and as EV aficionados, we know the difference. But to most people, it's still a Tesla Model 3. That is the question you've got to ask yourself before you buy a Tesla. And of course, as I've touched on many times in my videos, not everybody wants to buy a Tesla, and I understand that. I certainly have a BYD Seal myself at home that I drive on my daily commute, which I love, but I also, of course, enjoy driving a Tesla as well. As I've said, reviewing a Tesla is like putting on a very comfortable pair of shoes, in which case this Performance Model 3 is like being given a brand new pair of running shoes, which I'm looking forward to testing out today. You may not like a Tesla for many reasons. You may not like Elon Musk for the stuff he says. You may not like the company for what they do. You may not like the fact that they're everywhere now. It's like the EV Camry, so to speak. It's everywhere. The fact that they're being used for Ubers and taxis now, that is of course the flip side of the argument, that you're driving a vehicle that is of very good value. But as I'm going to show you very soon, you cannot discount the fact that the software is first in class, and you've also got access to the entire Tesla supercharging network, which is the easiest to use and the most reliable network currently in Australia. You've definitely got to take that into consideration if you're going to frequently use this car for road tripping. So as we wait for the software update to complete, which I can see the Tesla logo coming up now, what is the competition to the Tesla Model 3 at the moment in Australia when it comes to an EV? Well, at the lower end of the market, you've got things like the MG4 X-Power, certainly driven that. That is a very fast car, very zippy. Probably not as refined, but for like $20,000 less, certainly worth considering. Next, the BYD Seal Performance all-wheel drive. I think that's just under $70,000 from memory. So again, that is worth checking out. Not as quick, arguably slightly better interior. Software not as good as the Tesla Model 3, of course. And with the Performance Model 3, and it was with... Ooh, what was that? Do you hear that noise? That's part of the software update. Yeah, as I was just saying. And of course, with the Tesla Model 3, you do get the supercharging network and better app as well. Further up the chain, then you've got the Porsche Taycan, which of course is a lot more money, closer to $200,000. So I think that's probably not going to be a good value vehicle, although it does look very nice. So I think this is certainly worth considering for a car that's under $100,000 here in Australia. Okay, so now we've got the new 2024.14.7 software update pushed to the car with the new visualizations. And does that look slick or what? And fun fact, those who follow my channel regularly will know that I actually had initially put in an order for a rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3 in stealth grey. And I must say, it does look very nice in the sunlight. So there it is. And you can switch between the map view like that or dragging it across like this. And what I love showing about the Tesla trip planning is that you can just go somewhere far away, like say Melbourne, which is over 700 kilometers away, and straight away it'll give you EV trip planning data like that. 3 stops, boom, you are there in Melbourne. So that is lovely. And that is by far and away the best EV trip planning software on the market, bar none. Of course, now you've got adaptive high beams as well, which I've showed in a previous video. And you've got this really cool function called hands-free trunk, which I'll just show you in 1 second. Let's pop it on. Okay, so I've got my iPhone, which I'm going to walk to the back of the car with. 3 beeps, and just pop on by itself and open up. That's really cool. You still got to close it manually, but that's really cool, huh? Let's try that again, so it's not a fluke. So walk up with my iPhone. 3 beeps, and the boot will pop open by itself. Cool trick. Of course, if you want to stop that happening, let's see, I could just walk up again. If I just step back a little bit, it'll cancel itself, so you don't have to rush back. And one thing before we go for a drive, one more thing is that we'll look at the rear screen here. So there we go. Oh look, there's also nav data as well in the rear screen, so your passengers know how far away we're going, as opposed to asking, are we there yet, are we there yet, are we there yet? Turn the aircon on from here. That's so cool, isn't it? Here we go, seat heating controls there. You can move the front seat forward and back like that, so you've got more space. How funny is that? You can really annoy mum and dad from back here. Got radio controls there, you've got media controls, you can watch YouTube as you're driving, and then games you can play as well, entertain passengers in the back, screen brightness, Bluetooth devices, clean screen, and volume control. So that is very cool. Okay, so I think I've spoken enough about the new performance Tesla Model 3. Let's go test it out on the road. Okay, so one thing you should know about the Tesla ecosystem is that there is very limited speed camera detection. So that's why I always have Waze on as well for fixed and mobile speed cameras on your drive, as well as any hazards that might pop up along the way that you need to be aware of in real time. And of course, if you're going to own and drive a Tesla Model 3 Performance, you really should have it on insane mode, right? That's why you pay money for this vehicle. And I'm going to leave it on Sport, Ride and Handling, and leave it on heavy steering weight to maximize the feel of this vehicle through the steering wheel, and see how much feedback there is as well from the car. And then to drive off, you literally just tap the brake once, and then you are good to go. And that is the auto gear shift. And of course, as backup, you can also push these buttons up here as well. They should light up. There we go. So park, reverse, neutral drive, in case the screen for some reason blacks out, which is very rare, of course. And with no ultrasonic sensors, you've now got this heat map using the cameras around you, and that sort of tells you how close you are to the vehicle next to you, or behind you, or all around you for that matter. All right, so we are just crossing the Mooney Bridge. Great day for driving, not too sunny, a little bit overcast, that's fine. And so we're gonna take the exit here off the Pacific Motorway onto the old Pacific Highway, and we're gonna do some driving on some of the older roads. Just to showcase some of the handling, and then on the way back we'll get back on the motorway to demonstrate some of the autopilot features, of course. It's already quite fun on the motorway. They're driving at high speed and getting onto the right lanes, so I'll show you that on the way back. Right, so looking forward to this. Yeah, it's so good through the roundabout there. Obviously we'll try to stick to the speed limit as much as we can. So I've got ways up. Highway patrols do lurk around. Don't want to encourage reckless driving, of course. Drive within your comfort zones, within the speed limit. Scenic route next 26 kilometers at 60 kilometers an hour. All right. Twisting and turning, that's all I wanted. Now, of course, you can put on track mode in this vehicle. I thought I had it actually before, but after the software update, I can't seem to find it anymore. It used to be under Dynamics, used to be a track mode customization here. Under there, you can change things like regen braking settings, and also balance of the powertrain too. So, yeah, if I do get this loan again, obviously I won't be doing any track work today. It's a press car, but the track mode is certainly a lot more detailed now for those of you who are wanting to do that. And just a note on efficiency, not that I really care that much about that in a performance Model 3. So since the charge, since taking delivery of this vehicle, I've done 96 kilometers, 171 watt hours per kilometer, used 16 kilowatt hours of the battery. Someone's obviously gone all out when they first drove this car, because when I took delivery of this car, it was 18 kilometers in. So someone's actually gone out and had some fun with it. So 195 watt hours per kilometer overall for the life of this vehicle. Okay, so I've just had a lot of fun driving through all these twists down here that you can see, and we're just approaching Mount White now. And yeah, that was quite good actually, quite a lot of fun. The suspension has definitely been improved from the old Tesla Model 3 performance that we used to have. And the cornering was very good as well. I think I can imagine the active suspension working pretty well as I'm cornering. It doesn't feel as bumpy. Certainly feels quite smooth. Just, I'm not taking the turns too quickly around here, I know, but still. The cabin insulation certainly is better as well. Less road noise coming through. So a fast car, comfortable as well, good suspension, not too floaty, definitely not floaty by any means. It's a firm ride, but a lot of the absorption has been taken in with the active suspension on board. The steering is good too. The heavy steering is nice for this kind of twisting road. I feel like you're oversteering too much. So yeah, no, it's good. All right, now time for the descent. I think the suspension is working. I'm not being thrown around the vehicle. It's pretty firm, pretty smooth considering what I'm doing here. You're going relatively quick through these turns. There's a hairpin coming up, but again, very smooth, good insulation. Like, watch this, I'm just gonna corner this one. No problem, honestly. It's pretty cool. Good performance. All right. Here's another one. Just taking these turns with ease, lapping it up. Very impressive. Don't hear any rattling as such. Feels pretty solid. Any rattling might be coming from my camera equipment, possibly. I'm glad I didn't take anyone else with me on this drive. I kind of feel sorry for them going through these turns quickly. As a passenger, you know, having sat in a seat of a car that's going quickly, when you're not in control, you can feel very giddy. But I think when you're the driver, it's not too bad. kind of feel like you're in control, so you know what's coming up, you know what you're doing. That was a lot of fun, it really was. I think the creek is coming up. Here we go. Narrow bridge. Bit of a sprint here. Wow. That was insane. All right, and then making the uphill ascent. Might as well show the uphill as well. Can afford to go, or feel like you're going a little bit quicker. Because you are going uphill, but power is no joke in this car. It seriously is. You can see the power reading there. I've just been going like all blacks uphill. See, when you let go, regen braking goes down, right, to green. This is where the heavy steering's good, I reckon. Up in the turns like this. Slide that across. There we go. Took a few turns. Map in the corner. Visualizations here. Not much to see, obviously. We're kind of in the sticks. All right, so I've got a bit of a straight road coming up. This is not flat, I know, but Racebox does correct for it, so all right, let's do this. Here we go, 1 foot rollout off. Oh my goodness. Wow, that was quick. Oh, 3.36. Okay. 1.77 for 0 to 60. Didn't quite get the 3.1. We'll have a look at the charts in a second. Okay, one more time just for laughs. Sunny's off. Here we go. Oh, woo! Oh man, that's quick. That never gets old. Yeah. Okay, so you saw we did 2 sprints. So run 1. 3.36, both with 1 foot rollout off, and because we were going downhill, it corrected the time. Slope was minus 1.8%, so corrected time was 3.45 seconds for 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. There you go. The speed was quite linear, and that's the altitude there, and that was the G-force I was experiencing, and what you saw as well. Yep, pretty crazy times. The second run was uphill this time. So 0 to 100 in 3.42, or actually slightly downhill again, so 3.44, so pretty consistent both times to 3.44. Road condition isn't too bad, as you can see outside. Still sealed, still bitumen, so yeah. Whether had we been on, I don't know, perfect roads, flat ground, we've got the 3.1, not too sure, but that is the real world times anyway. So there you go, pretty consistent results both times. For run 1 was corrected 3.45, and then for run 2, once again, it was 3.44 corrected. Both times had a slight downhill gradient. All right, I've had my fun, and it's time to go home. Whew, must admit, got a bit of a headache now from doing all that testing, but yeah, totally worth it, totally worth it. All right, yeah, let's get back onto the Pacific Motorway, and then we can talk a bit more about the Autopilot system, and also the indicating and the stalkless gear changing as well now. All right. So from here you could even engage Autopilot now if you wanted, or at least cruise control. So there we go. That's cruise. That's a great way to keep your speed in case there are highway patrol around, and for safety as well, to keep to the speed limit. And I'll show you how we indicate using the controls on the steering wheel now. So yeah, I mean, this is the third loan I've had of the new Tesla Model 3, and look, I think I'm pretty much used to the indicators now. occasionally I will flick like this and go, oh, whoop, that's right, there's no indicators. And then I've got to use the controls here. When the steering wheel's upside down, that's when I get confused, because like when you're doing a roundabout or a 3-point turn and you want to use the indicators, that's when it's tough. Accelerate back up to the motorway. It's got that auto indicator off as well, so it'll switch off by itself once you're in the lane. Okay, and then cruise control like this. Oh, sorry. There we go, cruise control once. You can also set it such that pressing once will also activate autopilot. So it's up to you whether you want it as 1 click or 2 clicks. But for me, I would prefer to have it 1 click for cruise, in case I want to use cruise without the autopilot component, and then double click like this for the auto steer component. And then now it just behaves like any other Tesla Model 3 on the highway, because you take the acceleration out of it most of the time, which is following the highway within the lanes and following the leading car up ahead. So yeah, we'll just cruise on ahead for the next hour, and that'll be the review. Yeah, it really is quite a lovely, smooth drive. The suspension has definitely been improved. We knew that already from the rear-wheel drive variant, but yeah, compared to, say, the Tesla Model Y we have at home, this is a much more comfortable drive. I mean, of course, you're lower to the ground as well, not being an SUV, but yeah, it's fantastic, really nice. Insulation's not bad, a lot less sound coming through the cabin as well, because, we are on the freeway, but even then, it's pretty good. Yeah, very, very well. Even drive, even ride, very balanced. Great road tripper, Tesla Model 3. Alrighty, well, heading back into Sydney now on the run home. And yeah, as you can see from the video, it's been a lot of fun driving this car. I tell you what, for $80,000 before on roads here in Australia, you really cannot go wrong with this car. Yeah, it's a lot to love. It's like they've redesigned and rebuilt the Performance Model 3 from the ground up again. Rather, as I said, than just being like a quick, straight line accelerating car or version of the Tesla Model 3. It's like a brand new performance arm of the Tesla Model 3, designed just to be the performance version. So, for 80 grand, before on-roads, before options, yeah, it's crazy. Considering in 2019, our Tesla Model 3 performance cost $100,000. So, yeah, prices definitely have dropped. And that's probably largely due to, one, competition from China with their EVs, and also the dropping price of batteries as well, battery chemistry and battery cells. So, yeah, there you go. If you've got the money to spend, this is certainly one to consider. Acceleration, of course, is crazy, as you saw with my test. Handling is much better. The suspension is very good as well now. So, I would definitely go out and get a test drive of this vehicle. I just want to thank Tesla Australia once again for the loan of this vehicle to this humble content creator to test out on Australian roads. Hope you enjoyed today's video. One last job today is to probably go and charge this vehicle up, and then give you an idea of, I guess, real-world range. Not that most people would really care driving this car if you're going to really do some spirited driving, but I'll give you an idea of what it's like with the efficiency that I've been getting in this car in the Tesla Model 3 Performance. So thanks again for everyone for watching. Until the next Ludicrous feed video, happy charging. Oh, quick footnote too is that these bucket seats have definitely helped with the handling. Like most bucket seats that I've tested, they definitely grip your sides better. You're not throwing around the cabin as much as you're tearing around those corners that I showed you earlier in the video. So yeah, bucket seats for the win. Oh yes, and I forgot to show the frunk earlier, or the bonnet earlier in the walk around, so just for completeness sake, here it is. Okay, so we're back at Tesla Sydney this afternoon, and unfortunately I didn't get time to charge the vehicle, but check this out, the trip stats since charge, so since I took delivery at 100%, I racked up 272 kilometers, 46 kilowatt hours of the battery used, 168 watt hours per kilometer, assuming a usable battery of 75 kilowatt hours. If you're getting 450 kilometers for the full charge of this car, driving the way I did, then I think you're doing pretty well. So once again, thank you, Tesla, and thank you for the loan of the Performance Model 3. What an enjoyable 24 hours it's been.
Embossed.